Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our reading lesson for the day. So, this week we're going to be learning about figurative language. Now, prior to this week, these last few weeks, we've really been setting the foundation for some strong reading and language arts skills. We've been going over more literal language, okay? So, like the alphabet, phonics, phonemic awareness, some CVC and sight words. So, literal language is when the person says exactly what they mean, or a sentence says exactly what it means. Figurative language, on the other hand, is when a person says something but means something different. And so that's what idioms are. So let's review an idiom. What is it? An idiom is a phrase that does not mean exactly what it states. It's a form of figurative language that has a secondary, ulterior meaning, okay? So when you read an idiom or when someone says an idiom, they don't mean exactly what they say. The idiom has a secondary meaning, okay? And even though you're probably thinking, Miss Morris, what is an idiom? You have surely heard an idiomatic phrase at least once in your lifetime, if not at least once a day, okay? TV programs use it a lot, YouTube channels use it a lot, books, authors like to use idioms. They're just turns of phrase that can add some color to your writing and to your language, okay? So let's look at a few examples of idioms. It's raining cats and dogs. If someone says it's raining cats and dogs outside, do they really mean that dogs and cats are raining down from the sky? No, they don't, right? They mean it's raining very hard outside, okay? So the phrase it's raining cats and dogs is an idiom. It doesn't really mean that it's raining cats and dogs. Instead, it means it's raining very hard. There's a downpour going on outside. Maybe you've heard the phrase, when pigs fly. I'll believe that when pigs fly. Do they really mean that they'll believe something when a pig is able to take flight in the air? No. When pigs fly is an idiom that means it's not going to happen. It's unbelievable. Okay? So that's another example of the fact that the words say one thing, but the meaning is different. They don't really mean when pigs fly. They mean that'll never happen. That is unlikely. That is unbelievable. A piece of cake. Man, that test was a piece of cake. Did that person really get a test? Sorry, did that person really get a cake for their test? No, right? They're saying, man, that test was so easy. I had it in the bag. I knew all the answers. It was super easy for me. So the phrase a piece of cake doesn't really mean someone's giving you cake. They just mean whatever they're talking about or referring to was very easy. So, as you can tell, idioms can be pretty confusing just because they do not mean what they say. So, for our purposes, it's really important to know common idioms in order to truly know what someone is trying to say. Like I said earlier, idioms are used frequently in books and stories. And now that you guys are in high school and going to be transitioning on to your jobs and careers soon enough, we need to know idioms because they are frequently used in the workplace. And so if your boss uses an idiom and you're not aware that they don't actually mean what they say, you can get into some confusing affairs because you weren't aware that they were using figurative language instead of literal language, okay? So here's examples of a few more idioms that we'll review. Cat got your tongue? Does a cat literally have its claws on your tongue? No. Can't you speak? Are you at a loss for words? That's what this phrase really means. Cat got your tongue is an idiom meaning can't you speak? Are you at a loss for words? Snug as a bug in a rug really means Warm and cozy. You feel very comfortable where you are. If someone says they want you to go the extra mile, do they really want you to run a mile outside? No, of course not. They want you to put in extra effort. Try a little harder, okay? Put in 110%. That is, again, another idiom right there. Go the extra mile. You might hear that in the workplace. Maybe you've heard someone say, man, I have a presentation today. It feels like I have butterflies in my stomach. If we were to x-ray their stomach, would they really have butterflies inside them? No. Butterflies in my stomach is an idiom that means I'm feeling very nervous. I'm feeling excited. My tummy is all aflutter, okay? So they're just saying they feel nervous. To go down in flames really means to fail spectacularly, okay? So they're not saying that someone got into an accident and got engulfed in fire. They're just saying, man, that was pretty bad. You failed horribly, okay? So if someone says that to you, you know, oh, that's what that means instead. And finally, once in a blue moon. If someone says that they have chocolate cake once in a blue moon, it doesn't really mean that they're waiting until the moon is blue outside. It means that they have chocolate cake very rarely. So the phrase once in a blue moon is an idiom meaning rarely or not very often, only every once in a while. Again, these are just a few common idioms that you might encounter in school, as you're watching TV or listening to something, and in the workplace. So this week, we're going to be reviewing more idioms. We'll go over common ones that you'll encounter in school and in the community, and then we'll try and match the idiomatic phrase to its true intended meaning. Okay, so just again, an idiom is a phrase, it's a figurative language phrase that does not mean exactly what it says. Okay, it has a secondary meaning. So if you think of an idiom, it's like an onion. Okay, outside is the idiom itself, but inside is the meaning of the idiom. So you have to peel the layers back to understand what the person's really trying to say. I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you guys during your Zoom meetings later today. Take care.